What is up, boys? My name is Beret, and recently I had a conversation with someone about Valorant coaching, namely about whether or not it is worth it for the average player. Now, as a coach, I am a little bit biased, but this really did get me thinking, how valuable is Valorant coaching really? And I do have some thoughts, and I guarantee you they're probably not what you think, so let's get into it.
I don't know what to use for background footage, so I'm just going to be playing a Swift play in the background as I talk about this topic.
Let's talk about Valorant coaching, right? So Valorant coaching is only for people who want to improve at the game faster than they normally would usually. I am a firm believer in practice. I believe that anyone can get good at anything if given enough time and effort. I have no natural talent when it comes to playing video games. I have no natural talent when it comes to tactical shooters. Valorant was my first tactical shooter. I started playing in Episode 3, Act 1, and the only reason that I'm at the point I am today is not because of any natural talent like someone like Tens or Shroud. It's because I put in the work and I put in the time. So I am a firm believer that you don't need coaching. You don't need it. It is not necessary for ranking up. However, people do learn slower than others. Some people aren't good at analyzing their own games. You can get good at analyzing your games. It just takes practice. It just takes time, effort, and practice to get good at it. And if you spend enough time, effort, and practice, I do believe that anyone, and I mean anyone, can learn this game or any game. Or really anything for that matter, any skill. However, let's talk about the second bit of it, which is what if you don't have the time? Or what if you don't want to put in the time? That's where a coach comes in. A coach is there to sort of fast track your improvement. Instead of having to figure out what you're doing wrong yourself by spending hours studying the game, reviewing your own games, stealing professional strategies, studying, map timings and macro and micro and stuff, you have a coach there to analyze your game and do it for you. Or it's not even like with VOD reviews and stuff. You could also have a coach there to teach you concepts about the game. Sometimes I have students come to me saying, hey, I don't really have a VOD that I want you to go over, but I'm having a trouble understanding this concept in a game. Like, I'm having a hard time understanding macro, or I'm having a hard time understanding lurk timings and when it's good to lurk, when it's not good to lurk. I'm really struggling on, XYZ map. And oftentimes, people don't have the time to analyze the games themselves. That's also where a coach would come in to help you with that sort of analysis. The carpal tunnels are really showing here. Is my sensitivity really high? My sensitivity is not really high. Wow, I just suck. Anyways, yeah. So that's like the second time a coach would come in. The second time a coach would come in is really for like giving you tips that only someone with more experience would have. However, I will make it clear. Coaching, you don't need it. Nobody needs coaching to get improvement. And I know me saying that as a coach is probably not the best like business wise, but I don't care. I am here to see the general Valorant population improve. I am not here to like make an obscene amount of money off of coaching. That is not my goal. So the next thing that coaching is really for is, again, I did sort of touch on this, people who don't have a lot of time, but it's also for people who kind of want to like pay to win a little bit. Now, in most games, it's not like exactly a pay to win model. There are some games where it is a direct pay to win. In Valorant, however, coaching is the pay to win method for improvement, rather. So let's say you are not. Wow, I should not have swung to two people. I am focusing on talking, not focusing on the game right now, so sorry if I suck. But the thing with coaching is that you pay to get better fast at the cost of like doing it yourself. So yes, coaching does cost money. My coaching isn't super expensive. You can look at the prices on Medify. I try to keep them as low as I can and as reasonable as I can. But yeah. There are some risks involved with coaching as well. Sometimes you're just going to get a bad coach that gives you bad information. I'm confident in the information that I give. I only give information to my students that I'm comfortable using in my own games. And I'm also not afraid to give like whack information, right? Like plays that are really, really weird, but I know they work if you put in the time to lab them out. A coach can also teach you how to make your own plays as well. A good coach shouldn't be just there to feed you information. A good coach should actually make you self-sufficient. The goal of coaching, or at least the goal of good coaching, should be to make it so that you don't need the coach anymore. That should be the goal of coaching, and that's my goal with coaching. Nothing makes me happier than when a student tells me, "Hey, I've hit Immortal, I've hit Radiant, I've hit my goal. I don't need your coaching anymore." Happiest feeling, right? But there are some coaches that will try and take advantage of that, where they will kind of car shop pair you. There's times where there's an old scam back in like 1950s, I want to say, where these car repair people would just put sawdust in your car engine, and it would make it run really smooth for a little bit. But then after a while, your car would just be going back to having issues because they didn't actually fix the problem. They just gave you a temporary solution. A lot of coaches do that. A lot of coaches give generic information, or a lot of coaches give advice that helps a little bit in the short term, but not very much in the long term. Saying all that to say, getting coaching is inherently some sort of risk, because there's a chance you may get a bad coach. I'm not a perfect coach. I do not claim to be the best coach. And I know this video is probably going to come off as me just shilling my own coaching, but these really are my genuine thoughts. So, TLDR with the video. If you get nothing else from this video, here are the main points I wanted to make. You do not need coaching. Anyone can learn anything if they put in enough time and effort. A coach is there to fast track your learning, so that you don't have to put in an obscene amount of time. You can just hire someone who's already put in the time to give you the information. Final note that I'll say is, at what level of the game should you get coaching? I believe that you should get coaching if you are a fresh install. The reason why I say that you should get coaching if you've freshly installed the game is you are starting yourself off on the right foot immediately. You're setting yourself up on the right track, and you don't give yourself a chance to form bad habits. If you are a fresh install of the game, I would say getting coaching. That's what I do when I'm trying to learn new games. Recently, I've been trying to learn a lot of fighting games recently. When I was first learning how to play Mortal Kombat, I immediately went on Metafy, and I tried to find a Mortal Kombat coach before I even touched the game. After I sort of learned how to play Mortal Kombat, and I got pretty good at that, I wanted to learn a 3D fighter, so I started learning Tekken. What I did was, immediately before I even installed the game, I went on Metafy to look for Tekken coaches so that I could start myself off on the right track. And because I did that, I got to Fujin and Tekken, which is, I want to say, about like the high ascendant, low immortal equivalent of Valorant. In that game, it's like the second or third highest rank in the game. I got there in less than 30 hours of playing. Only reason I would have got that was because I didn't develop bad habits early on, because I had the coach to tell me how to play. Wow, I suck. Right? I had the coach to tell me what was the, quote, right and wrong thing to do when I'm playing Tekken, because I got the coach. So I'm a firm believer that if you're a fresh install of a game, I say coaching's worth it. Now, if you have a little bit more experience in the game, let's say you just got out of Iron and you're in Bronze or something, I also say that coaching is worth it, but not as much as someone who's in a higher rank. If you already know the ropes and the basics of the game, I would say it just comes down to playtime. Just play the game more and try to understand as much as you can about the game. However, if you know that you've already developed a bunch of bad habits and you genuinely cannot see what you're doing wrong, then get a coach. But I'd say that's the only scenario. And the third type of person that would probably want to get a coach is someone who is higher elo, let's say around Platinum Diamondish, and they want to hit the upper echelons of Immortal Radiant. Because at those ranks, you need to have a lot of experience in the game, or you need to hire someone who has more experience. But anyways, yeah, with all that being said, if you would like to get some coaching, even after everything I said in this video, I am a coach. If you want to get coaching from me, Metafy, one of the top links in the description. My prices are pretty low. Anyways, yeah, with all that being said, this has been Break. Brush your teeth. Bye-bye.